that's doing this same thing right over in this area. And as our sun and the moon, which you're going to see in a second, rotates, maybe this one rotates too. But regardless of that, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's go back to true north. This area right here, which Enoch refers to as one of the three sections, this is referred to as the Garden of Righteousness. The Garden of Righteousness from your Bible is also known as the Garden of Eden. This is where it all began, right here. Okay? There's something also very, very important about this particular area. It is highly magnetic. So what you are seeing here in this shaded in area, shaded in circle, of the pinkish reddish tone, this is where what everything in our planet rotates around. Our planet is simply about rotation. Okay? Now, that does not move. That is a fixed area. That is the vortex. That is the Mount Meru. That is the Garden of Eden. That is referred to so many different cultures by so many different names. But it does not move. It is fixed. It stays right there. Everything rotates around it. Now let's venture out into these circles. See these dark red lines, these heavy dark red lines? Around the Garden of Righteousness, the Garden of Eden, our true north, around this point rotates our magnetic pole. And as you can see, right here in the middle, this is currently the North Pole. However, what we've seen recently in the last 20 years and what we've seen evidence of in recent weeks with the shifting of the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights show, which made its way down into North America recently, into the United States part of North America, this is shifting. So right now we have a major shift happening from the North Pole this way, over into Russia, Siberia area, which is right over here. Our magnetic pole is no longer located at the North Pole, where we think Santa Claus is and where this big ice sheet is. It's not there anymore. It's moving this way. And it will continue to move this way. Why? Because this magnetic pole rotates in a concentric circle, just like this, just like where these dark red lines are, all the way around true north. It has always done that, and it will always do that, because this pole is magnetically bound to this area. It will always travel around these dark red lines. Always. It is literally like night and day. Nothing can stop it. Nothing has ever stopped it. Nothing will ever stop it. It makes this rotational pattern consistently over time. So that's important to know, and that explains why the magnetic pole shift is happening. If you go back in time, you will see our magnetic pole traveling along this line. Now, this is, of course, only while we've been alive. It's only moved from about here to about here, which is where it is right now. But over time, it'll travel all the way around this circular line. Okay? Why is that important? Well, because our sun, which is right here, is also an electromagnetic ball. Okay? So the sun, similarly to the magnetic pole traveling around true north, around the Garden of Righteousness, similarly, our sun travels around the magnetic pole. So as this pole shifts this way, our sun shifts that way. That's what it does. You want an illustration? Watch this. Oops, did you see that? Watch closer. Watch what happens to the shaded area. See this Antarctic circle? See the outermost line right here? Watch what happens as this magnetic pole, I should say, shifts. Watch what happens to this shaded area of our known lands right now. Did you see it? Watch the next click. Watch the next click. Watch the next click. As goes, I should say, this shift of the magnetic pole, so goes the sun and the moon, because the sun and the moon rotate around that pole. So as this pole is rotating around this center point of our greater realm, so goes the sun and the moon around it, and so goes the lands that we occupy. Watch again one more time. This is where we are now. This is where we are heading. Another click after that. Another click after that. Now in these next few slides, I took out the sun and the moon because now you get the point. Those are your lines of equator, Tropic of Capricorn, Cancer, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. They are moving. As the magnetic pole shifts, which it's doing and has been doing for many, many years, has always been doing, I should say, as it shifts, so goes our lands. There's where we are now, there's where we're going, and you could see this center point right here is what the sun and the moon are bound by. The sun is a magnetic, electromagnetic force. The moon is bound by the same electromagnetic force. This shift that's happening right around these heavy red lines, this shift that is happening is natural. It has always happened, it always will happen, and it will always follow these red lines. The sun and the moon follow it. Today, a couple hundred years from now, couple hundred years from now, about 1,000 years from now, there is nothing anyone could do to stop this shift from happening. So they'll yell climate change, and they'll yell Paris Climate Accord, and they'll siphon your money off of you because they want to control global warming. You're not controlling anything. You can control nothing. By the way, this last shift right here, we talked about the Mississippi bubble the other day. Well, you could see right here, the UK is starting to thaw out, right? You could see right here, North America and South America are starting to thaw out. And then you can see in this photo, they are thawed. Okay? You could see the United States right about in this area, South America down here. What I believe happened was, as Lemuria thawed out right here, and this is the one that we'll want to see. Well, the next click, but it's not there. Sorry about that. As Lemuria thawed out, people flocked to it, and later, after it failed, after it sunk to the ocean floor, that's when the mass exodus happened, and the rest of these lands were occupied. I think many people in South America and North America are probably Lemurians, and I think the people that left Atlantis, which is right around this area here, before it sunk, probably due to electromagnetic forces, before it sunk, I think they fled to the UK, which is right in this area here. So when we were talking about the Mississippi bubble, I think these Atlanteans ended up in the UK, and then only afterwards realized that the North American continent is available, and then only afterwards realized that the South American continent is available. So I think the exodus happened like this. People were, let's go one click back. People were on Atlantis for a very long time. Here's Atlantis, no longer there. You could see that Atlantis survived. Atlantis was the place to go until the shifts started happening. Right around this time, Atlantis is still warm, but right around this time, we're getting a little bit colder. Okay? Right around the next click, which I don't have on the screen. Actually, I do. Let me go all the way back to the beginning here. You can see Atlantis now is on the outermost reaches. So what I think happened was people started to flee from Atlantis right around this time. Because the next click over, Atlantis is starting to get cold. And they went right here.